It was up, it's Rashad. Antonio. Upon further review, this is the Calrissian Kids podcast, man. And we're here talking about Star Wars Rebels Season 4 in anticipation to Ahsoka on Disney Plus. And we've done the last three. I mean, to be honest, in retrospect, all three of those are bangers, even season one, which I hated on when it first came out. And season 4 is a banger as well, man. Like, what's your overall thoughts?
This entire season was high tension.
It
And
really
even though
was.
I've seen this season two times beforehand. This is my third time seeing it, doing this. I was like, oh, the whole time, like, man, so it was just high tension in this season. So I'm here for it. This was the final season of Rebels, saying as we saw it seen in animation, as we've said before, Ahsoka basically is going to be like almost like season 5 or 4.5 of Rebels, and I'm here for it. Great season. Let's go ahead and dig in this thing, man.
Yeah, man. So we basically start where we left off, and we have Sabine back home, and she's trying to rescue her dad. The whole crew is there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 2 episode thing, which essentially kind of ties into the was like the tales of the dark saber, or like the trials of the dark saber,
Yes,
when
yes.
she starts to open up about her past, and basically she's saying
Mm-hmm.
the reason I left, I was trying to save my people, but the
Mm-hmm.
empire don't care about your people. So
Mm-mm.
whatever she was making, she thought she destroyed, but nah, they pieced that thing back together like some
Yeah,
Legos.
right.
And so they end up of course they get her dad back by the end of the episode, and everybody's thinking is, oh, we took a major W today. Like, her mom is there
Yeah,
just, gloating in the
yeah.
spoils of her victory. And
Clan
then
Ren reigns again.
Supreme
Supreme,
Rin.
supreme clientele. We are here. Supreme
You
Ren.
gonna love
Love me.
I'm sorry. So so then Sabine hears this noise on the
Uh-huh.
comms, and she freaks out. She's like, I know this ain't what I think it is. And
Mm-hmm.
she's telling them to run, emphatically run. And they're like,
Yeah.
what you talking about, yo? And all of a
It was like
sudden, what was the noise?
it was like a woo, 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 woo. And she was like, run, please leave, run, get disperse, go. You know what I'm saying? Take it back. We're gonna take it back to Joe Clark. Move expeditiously. She was like, go, run away. And then next thing you know, the comms go dead, go silent.
Yeah, man. So that's the end of that episode. But unfortunately, a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of Clan Ren is gone.
Yeah.
And Sabine and Sabine's mom and brother make it out because it is a kid show.
Yeah.
But essentially, the thing that I gotta stop saying essentially, the thing that
Yeah.
kills them was Sabine's weapon that she made when she was, like, hanging out with the Empire. Because as we already know, last season, a lot of the Mandalorians got with the Empire just to survive, and Clan
Mm-hmm.
Rin did too, prior
Mm-hmm.
to them killing Gar Saxon. But
Yeah.
and of course, we got Tyra Saxon is here,
Yeah.
Gar's little bro,
Mm-hmm.
being a step and fetch it for the Empire. And it's really funny because the machine that she made
Mm-hmm.
cremates them inside of their best car. And
And it's
it
not just and it's in tune to attack Mandalorians because of the
best
best
scar
scar
only.
only.
So whatever the
And
frequency is, it's like,
yeah,
yeah, we only attacking best car related things.
right. And it basically cremates them in their uniform. So when they get to the location where it happened at, they just see all these Mandalorian like armor
It's,
just
it's just armor and ashes. You know what
armor and
I'm
ashes.
saying?
And everyone was like, yo, what the hell? And then like she was nervous. She didn't see her brother or mother. And they were like, yo, we got out the blast radius. Yo, what the hell was that? And she was like,
Oh man, that's
it's
that's all
on
me
me.
right
It's all
there.
came up, that's all me. She was like, it was all, and they were like, what you mean? She was like, yeah, this is what I created. And everybody was like, are you effing serious? they said, yo, you created this against your own people. And she was like, yo, I was, at the Imperial Academy. They respected me for the mechanic I was and told me build this. I thought I'd build it, and I never thought they would use it, but I destroyed all the prototypes. It was like, well, evidently they didn't. They didn't destroy it. And I
Nah.
mean, that basically puts that changes the game with having the Mandalorians, what I'm saying, be on the side of the rebels. And
Mm-hmm.
then what was so funny, who was it that said the ridiculous thing? Was it Ezra? We could just take off your man, just take off the armor. And they looked at it. The look that all the Mandalorians gave him was like,
Like,
what?
man, shut your ass
Shut
up.
your ass up. Do you know what this is? And then it was like, and then that's when Sabine was like, yo, my armor is like my family's up. It's over 500 years old. First of all, let's talk about that for a second. The Beskar is last. Like, that's how awesome Beskar is,
And
man.
it don't miss. Like it's just it's the best thing in the Star Wars universe. Aside from the Force, like
Yeah,
what else is better than Beskar?
yeah, yeah. I
Nothing.
mean, nothing. I mean, saying of course, you can get shot with it. You might get a bruise, or you can still get concussed from getting hit in the head
Nah,
or
we
something
already
like
we
that.
already seen Din Djarin literally just
Yeah,
walking into shots on purpose just to
yeah,
protect other people because he has the
right,
Beskar.
right. So that's when Thiber, whatever his name is, Thybone, Saxon,
You might as well call that man Tybalt. You know what I'm saying?
Tibble, or what. He tells them, look here, surrender, whatever, we'll forget this whole thing, or we're gonna unleash this whole thing. We're gonna unleash this thing right back on you. And it was like, what? And it was like, what? Oh, hell no. And by this time, Bo Katan comes with the Night Owls. And Bo Katan was really pissed off for real.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bo
yeah, yeah,
Katan
yeah, yeah. She was
was
in her
really ready.
feelings.
Yeah, she was really ready to, like, what I'm saying, like, off Sabine or whatever. And so they come up, not even really playing. Sabine is like, yo, I'm going to destroy this. So her, Chopper, and Finn
Ezra.
Rao,
Yeah, Ezra
Ezra,
was.
and Ezra, they like infiltrate the base that's on Mandalore that has the machine and everything there. And she gets to it. Chopper basically gets up in there and erases it from all Imperial files, so they can't remake it. And then she's tampering with it, but Saxon clan comes up behind her and was like, "Yo, what you doing?
Yeah, that
What's
was
up?"
on
Whoa, whoa,
some.
whoa.
Yeah, it's a trap. We knew you was coming. You think
Yeah,
you could
we knew.
come here on my
Mm-hmm.
ship? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not, me, us not see you. So it was that. And the cool part for me was how she flipped in on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the end of the episode, she's able to reverse because they was getting like her and her and
Finn, was
no
it
no
Finn
no no
Rao or
no
her
no no no
brother?
no no no. It was my God, yo. It was the Night Owl.
Oh
What's her
yeah, yeah, yeah,
name?
yeah. Bo-Katan.
Yeah, her and Bo-Katan was getting ate up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They was getting ate up in there, and
And,
and she was able to, kind of reversing on them and
yeah,
have it affect only the Imperial
right. And
materials.
yeah, and I forgot what that's like, proto armor or something
I don't know.
like that. It's whatever for them, and basically turned the machine on, put that jank like on full blast so it could blow up. And I think we've seen the end of the Saxon clan, to say the least, or whatever that was.
Assassin Clan is has to be done unless some sort of like
Yeah,
kid somewhere with the armor. But
yeah.
another thing too about that episode, it was funny because Ezra had his like his normal get up with the Imperial helmet, and he took that thing
Mm-hmm.
off real fast when that machine went off.
Right,
Also, Bo Katan really really punked out because she should have let her just off Saxon. She'd have killed two of them. You know what I'm saying? Well, they would
mm-hmm.
have killed two of them, but like, nah, basically he had to die on his own accord. So it was whack. But other than that,
Yeah.
like strong episodes, even though it wasn't like into like the main storyline, but I liked him.
And then, of course, on the end of it, that's where we see where Sabine lets Bo Katan know, like, yo, you should be the leader of the Mandalorians. She hands her and gives her the dark saber. They come off the ship, and you see all the different, well, not all, but you see a good majority of the clans
Yeah.
of the Mandalorian, and they all like pledge to Bo Katan, for clan clan Ren. It was clan Ren. It was clan Vizsla. Even was
Yeah.
someone from Clan Vizsla. You had the Blackalorians, as I like them. I forgot what clan they were from. It was all black Mandalorians, like on the Blackalorians. They there, and that's and that leads into what we see in the Mandalorian TV
Mandalorian.
show
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, man. So that was a great little 2-story arc to start this thing off.
And then we get another 2-story arc. You know what I'm saying? With the return of our favorite space Negro. Saw Gerrera.
We talk about something. We talk about something. So last season, my man, clean shaved head, beard, little clean shaved. He didn't even have a beard or whatever.
Oh, no, he
Goatee or
was
nothing.
cooling. He was cooling.
Cool. My man came back. He got the Frederick Douglass special. He got the Frederick Douglass special. And he's just like, hey, what's going on out here? or whatever. So basically, the rebellion, by the way, they have their new base, which is Yavin 4. And we know Yavin 4 from A New Hope. That's the little jungle base where they were all met up, and where Luke told them, "Oh, we can hit that." I used to shoot womp rats the size of that when they was talking about attacking the Death Star. And the whole thing is that Hera and her squadron, they kind of feel like the rebellion is kind of dragging their feet. They kind of feel like, hey, y'all are kind of dragging your feet in this. We should be able to do this, blah blah blah. And Mon Mothma is like, look here, just slow up. We got this. And then what happens? There was also like a mech droid that they captured somewhere along the line. And then the mech droid gives like a giant floating head. And it's our favorite space Negro next to our daddy Lando, Saul Guerrero. And like I said, he has the Frederick Douglass special here. And he is just talking cash trash. He's like, you leave this to these people. He says, they can't even make a decision. He says, we're doing this. And they're like, hey, man, we know what you do. You know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, you a terrorist, man. You making us look bad. He was like, I get the results.
Antonio, he told Mon Mothma, he said when the Empire beats you, I hope you can rest well knowing that you did it the right way.
Right.
I was like, oh snap.
Yes. Yeah. Yo, once again, shout out to Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, man. Always coming back and always murdering this role. Voice acting when he did it in a Rogue One. Yeah, so Forrest Whitaker, man, you here for the people.
Yeah, and Saul Guerrero. Here's the thing: is like Saul Guerrero is like Killmonger from Black Panther, yo, man. He's like, it's like does his means justify his end? But it's like, yo, you kind of going a little too far, bro. It's like, we get it.
Yes, and that is like the struggle that Ezra and even Sabine are having, because they so quickly go over the mission. So part one is they had a mission. There was some sort of like relay, and they was going to tap into the relay instead of destroying it, so they can kind of be able to intercept messages from the Empire. Yada yada yada. Go there, and they bomb the mission. You know what I'm saying? Saul Guerrero shows up because he was going to be there anyway, and he's like, hey kids, I got some proton bombs. So he blows the whole satellite up. And then because they couldn't get away, they hop on Saul's ship. Hera's like, hey, bring my kids back. And he's like, fam, they're gonna be good. Maybe I can show them how to really fight the Empire. Don't
worry. Uncle Saul will show them how to do this. Shoots off in the light space, light speed. and then it was like Kanan was like, hey man, Sabine and Ezra, they can take care of themselves. She was like, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about who they are with. That's the lie she said.
Because Hera was like on some, I don't trust this dude back in season 3 when it was on Geonosia. So she was like, no, I ain't down with that. Next, and here's the thing that I like about this episode. And what I really realized after the fact, Saul was so close to figuring out what the Death Star was.
Mm-hmm.
So close, but he was so hell bent on destruction that
Mm-hmm.
he didn't see it through. And also the fact that the Death Star was his demise is like it's like poetry rhymes.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like
Yes.
that was
Listen.
that really hit me like after I watched it. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
why I didn't even see this. I'm so stupid.
Man, Saul was all hellfire and you need it's Cain, hellfire and brimstone. It's Saul. That's like he was just listen. He what my man say? Hey, some people just want to see the world burn. He want to see the world burn for his. And once
Yes.
again, this all goes back to his sister dying. Like I can imagine a world where his sister survived during Clone Wars, and Saul wouldn't be as so he would probably be a great general for the
Yeah, he'd
rebellion.
probably be chilling with him and Mom
Yeah,
Mothma and Bail Organa and the whole crew, just like the triad of sorts.
right.
But
Because he was
nah,
just like, yo, they have a secret weapon. I know. And they're like, hey, man, shit. But he was right.
he
They
was
had
he
us.
was so, he was so right, yet doing it so wrong. And this and
Mm-hmm.
like the message of Saul Guerrera is you can go about things, you can have like a righteous mission, but have
Mm-hmm.
a very wrong way to go about it. And that's kind of
Yes.
like the precautionary tale when it comes to Saul, because they was able to get on the ship, basically find the kyber crystal, even and of course it exploded at the end.
Yo, did you see the size of that damn kyber crystal,
Man,
bro?
the thing looked like a daggone like a mattress. That thing was
Yo,
huge.
that was a California King mattress size daggone kyber crystal.
Yeah,
That
that
jank
kyber crystal was
was
huge,
huge,
and
bro.
this is the thing about how many of them they had to get and form together
Mm.
to power the Death Star and harness
Right.
that power.
To blow up a planet. And
Yeah,
and the thing is, instead of him like, hey, let's take this kyber crystal, let's get some information on this thing. My man was like, you're gonna make this unstable. He just straight up plants the like just starts shooting and sets a bomb for the kyber crystal to blow up and
basically.
destroy like whatever they had going on. But all he did was put a slight dent into the Empire plan. That's it.
Yeah, they could have really, and then he was gonna sacrifice all those innocent folks that was up there. Like they just was
Yeah,
gonna be slaves for the empire.
yeah.
He's like, hey man, what about us? Don't
Remember,
care about.
he was ready to interrogate them. He was like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And they was like, "Hey man, look, the Empire snatched us up and they forced us. We're slaves. They making
He
us work."
said, yeah,
And
we
he was
like
like,
mechanics and engineers. It's
"Yeah." He
like
said,
we didn't want to do the deal that they had. We want to stay home with our families. But
"Tell us
no,
what you tell us what you know right now." And he was, yo, my man. My man was the ultimate loose cannon, and that episode was the final time we saw Guerrero in animation, for that thing, man. Says
yeah,
he
yo,
basically jettisoned all the they basically escaped by jettison through space in the escape pods, and the ghost came, scooped them up, and got them up out of there.
yeah, blew up the thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
like that man, Saw Gerrera, like one of my favorite characters I've ever
Yeah,
written for
man.
Star Wars show, and not because he's
Yeah.
black, but because he's black.
This is black.
All right, so next couple episodes are really good. The Occupation was a tense episode. They go back to Lothal. We see the
Mm-hmm.
destruction of Lothal and just
Mm-hmm.
how empire centric it is now. That's really
Yeah.
the gist of the episode. And they find
Yeah.
Ryder. That's really
It's
it.
and also on that episode too, like in this showing all like Ezra has all been like, yo, y'all said y'all was gonna go to Lothal
Yeah.
and help my people. What's the hold up here? And he basically was like, yo, F y'all. And Ezra, because he's like, yo, remember when we was a smaller crew and we could do stuff and we actually caused problems and stuff? It told that to Hera and Kanan, it was like, all right, hey, let's go on over here.
The boy has a
The boy
point. You
got
know
a
what
point.
I'm saying?
So they left not they didn't leave the rebellion, but they left the rebellion team and went back to just being Ghost Squadron. And you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, they went
And
solo
doing
for like basically the rest of the series a little
yeah.
bit. You know what I'm saying?
Because it was like once they got on Lothal, there was no way to get off because of the barricade, you know what I'm saying? Because the barricade they had on the
Yeah.
planet.
Blockade was
Yeah.
thick. So
Yeah.
meets up with his like some kid that he grew up with and meets up with Ryder and they kind of tell him
That
what's going on.
that was the kid he helped escape from the Imperial Academy when he was a spy.
Yeah, yeah.
We never show what happened to the black kid. That's one thing,
Nah, definitely a dangling thread. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He'll show up somewhere. Anyway, Episode 6, Flight of the Defender. One of my favorite episodes. Like, when I mean, Ezra and Sabine are so reckless, yo. So for all intents and purposes, they should only be checking out what the Empire's doing.
Yep.
When they get there, they see that they have a whole new TIE interceptor. It's called. What's it called?
TIE Defender.
Yeah, TIE Defender. Yeah, a whole new TIE Defender. They looking at it, and Sabine is like, "Yo, this thing has a data box. It has shields. It has a hyperdrive." So she's like geeking out while she's in it. And your boy Ezra says, "Look, you need to get out of there." So what's happening? Thrawn is here. So just like I said last season, every time they do something, your boy Thrawn shows up to put a wrench in the program. And Thrawn is so like, I'm just gonna watch what happens. Yeah. Because even when they was shooting, even when Sabine was shooting at him, he did not flinch.
No, didn't flinch one muscle. No. My man was like the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker in Dark Knight, where Batman was coming on the bat pod, coming to where he was like, "Come on, hit me." Yeah, but he didn't do it. He was just like, He just shot his gun up at it and stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm like, that's like the dumbest thing he did. I'm like, that gun's not gonna do anything. But
yeah,
the funny part was him and Governor Price, because Governor Price was trying, basically because it's her planet, so she's trying to impress. And your boy says, "Was this part of the demonstration?"
yo. He was like, "Was this part of the demonstration? Them like stealing this TIE Defender and you have to shoot a kill. You have to hit the kill switch to basically destroy it. So to make sure you don't say what it was, because they took it, and like I said, they got the data box and they took the hyperdrive too. Yeah, like the hyperdrive off of it because TIE fighters don't have hyperdrives, unlike the rebels with their vehicles like the X-Wings, they have hyperdrive, like a mini hyperdrive, but for some reason TIE fighters don't have them up there. But they was able to get that off and had it, but they knew where it crashed. And Price just, listen, another downfall of the Empire is people being too ambitious and want to prove how great they are. And they're doing something like my guy last season with that blockade of chopper based planet, and Thrawn said, "Hey, don't move the ship," and he moved. We got him, and he dumbass moved the ship, left away for Ezra to go out to get the Mandalorians to come back to save them or whatever, man. But but also in that episode as well, Ezra is like, "Hey, man, y'all see that? It's a Lothal." And they're like, "A Lothal? We ain't seen Lothal around here
in 100 years."
And he was like, "Yeah." He says, and so they was following the loaf cats. And he was like, "Yeah, we need to follow loaf cats." And it was like, "Hey, man, you following cats?" But he was like, "No, man, come over." And so he did it. He found the loaf. And at first, he was the only one that could see. It seemed like he could see the loaf wolf. And like the loaf wolf was leading him. It would show up, then disappear, show up to disappear. And then finally he had a vision of the loaf wolf, and he was like, hey, it was the white one. He was like, "Hey, man, what do you want from me?" And the loaf wolf just said, dude. And that's the end of that episode.
Great episode. So essentially, like seven is okay. I mean, it's just trying to get away from. We be introduced. Rook is introduced. You know what I'm saying? Like that weird looking creature.
Let me tell you something. I've seen this episode, like I said, 2 times before. Seeing it a third time, that thing still creeps me. My man just jumped off his ship. The sides. I said, "Oh, snap." And Price was like, "What are you here?" Yeah, it just left her and just started dipping because he could smell Zeb. We're gonna go. I'm just jumping.
No, you good. Go ahead.
My only beef with Rook, the Rook storyline is this: he hops off the ship, and the first thing he says is "Lestat," Lesats or whatever. I'm expecting that's going to be like a big thing where it's going to be Zeb and this dude have it out or whatever because this person like hunts Lasats or whatever, and like Zeb didn't even know who the hell he was. It's like I don't even, and that's the only thing that kind of upset me about the season. I wish it would have been like a battle between them two. That's my only thing
Yeah,
about it.
even though in the last episode, like Zeb does kill him in a battle,
Yeah.
but it's not there is no like interpersonal conflict with them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that I do understand, but
But
and
but also
they
too on this episode, that same episode right here, that's when the Lothwolf comes and leads
yeah
because they
yeah
are trapped. They are trapped by the Empire, and they don't have nowhere to go. And they see the white. All of them see the Lothwolf, and the Lothwolf basically takes them to a cave and hyperspace them to the other side of the damn planet.
he said we're on the southern hemisphere now,
Yeah.
so straight across from north to south, like it's like crazy. They went to some sort of cave. All of a
Uh
sudden,
huh.
they wake up, and Sabine is like, "You're not gonna believe this."
Yeah. Yeah. We are on the southern hemisphere of the planet. What? And that was, that was a thing right there that lets it go. And the Loaf Wolf, also Kanan realizes with the Loaf Wolf, and he's like, Doom. He was like, yo, what is this? What is he saying? Kanan was like, yo, that's my name.
Yeah, my real
Caleb
name is
Doom.
Caleb Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I wonder, like, that's another thing they really didn't go into as far as how what I'm saying with that, but I think it was just a force thing that it knew that who it was, but it didn't really explain how important it was or
nah,
whatever. Yeah,
it really did,
because
and
I was thinking it was going to come out to find out that Caleb was actually originally from Lothal himself. I would think that considering they was there, but they really didn't go into that either.
nah. What we'll talk about, I'll touch that on in a couple
Mm-hmm.
seconds. Crawler Commandeers was on like it's a lot of like random episodes in the season that are
Yeah.
really good because they end up coming across they're trying to get a signal out because
Mm-hmm.
the Empire has jammed all the signals.
Yeah.
So they said, "Hey, we found a way. There's this crawler going across, just scorch Earth
Mm-hmm.
on Lothal, killing all the
Mm-hmm.
resources for the Empire. It's the mining guild, of course. So it's
Mm-hmm.
capitalism at its best, people. If you haven't realized it, there's politics in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So they try to take over the crawler.
Crawler.
Yeah, and there's a crew up there. There's this like gecko looking alien. It's
Yeah.
like really pissy mad, and the Empire
Almost like
shows
a
up.
Trandoshan, but not really. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, like he almost like
Like
uh
Bosk.
yeah, like yeah, like a
Yeah.
boss but smaller.
Yeah.
And
Very smaller.
actually spoke like basic.
Yeah.
What else
But then,
happens?
but don't forget, they see one of their favorite people, the Zago.
Yeah, Vizago's hype. So, oh man, I know y'all was gonna come to save me. It's like, yeah,
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 yeah. He says, I told them. And so basically they take over the crawler and they make it seem like things is as normal up there. Ezra does his little trick as he can, overcomes mimic stuff or whatever. Get the Empire out of there, and Vizago basically like uses that crawler as a base of operations for them to do what they have to do to kind of help them out as well.
yep, that was cool. So that ends up
Also,
being a part
that
of their
was the
base.
last episode to take place in one BBY.
Oh, thanks for the fun facts.
Yes.
All right. So next couple episodes is like huge. So we got Rebel Assault into Jedi Knight into Doom. This is like a three-parter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Rebel Assault, they said, hey man, we're gonna attack the Empire from the sky and from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Thrawn was more than ready for the
Yeah.
attack,
Mm-hmm.
and they get crushed
Yeah.
because Hera was coming from out of the atmosphere, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, is that all the ships?" And then you see it was a bunch of them just like just falling to the
Yeah.
ground, and a lot of them
Yeah.
fall in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And Hera is on the run with I forgot the name of the pilot. Um, it wasn't Wedge. It was the other kid.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
so
yeah.
they're on a run, and Rook catches up with them. Hera kind of she got kind of got them hands, yo. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting that.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Rook got the best of her and they corner her and they they trap and take her in. And
Hmm.
Jedi Knight, oh man, it was like such
Man,
an amazing episode
yeah.
because we have Doom, of course, Caleb Doom, and he
Hmm.
actually gets to convene with the with the Loaf Wolf, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And he figures out what he needs to do. And in
Uh,
retrospect, him dying was what he needed to do.
yeah.
It's
And on
almost like
top,
it's almost like the Force was saying, "Yeah, I want Doom." The Force saying, "Oh yeah, it's time for you to make your sacrifice."
And on top of that, too, calling this episode Jedi Knight. This episode, I think, was the episode where Kanan actually became a Jedi Knight because you saw him, even though he's already probably like 30 something years old or whatever, he still kept that ponytail, and that ponytail was kind of like his version of keeping his Padawan. You know what I'm saying? Braid. So you saw in the episode, he's communing, and everything. And what does he do? He take a knife and he cuts off that ponytail he has, his ponytail. He removes the visor. He don't use the visor no more.
Cuts off his
And
little beard and mustache and stuff.
yeah, he shaves himself up, and now he has like the redneck white guy I want to be in the military, but I can't get in haircut. Am I lying, Rashad? I'm just saying.
Woo. All right. So so damn, that's so funny. All right. So Ezra and Sabine figure out a way to get in. They see like the bats are flying in the city, say, hey, we're gonna just hover in.
Yeah, they
You know what I'm
create a hang
saying?
glider. Yeah.
We're gonna hang glide in. So they did that, got to the level, and it broke in. They blended in because they already had, somebody else's they had the flight suits from one of the other
Mm-hmm.
missions, God knows when, and they infiltrate. And their plan is really good. Um
Mm-hmm.
Kanan gets there, rescues Hera. Hera is essentially drugged up, and
Uh-huh.
my only like kind of complaint is like they had to get Hera high in order for her to tell him that like I love you.
Right. Yeah.
Just to find out in the end that he was already smashing
Yeah.
that. So because they ended up having Jason. So wow,
Yeah.
we didn't need that. But sorry, this is a semi kid show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think he like they already have this like thing going on, even
Yes.
if it's just like a like friends with
An,
benefits.
yeah.
Like
An
there's
unspoken
already
thing.
yeah, there's already these emotions there because even in the first season, it was like always like my love and my dear. So it's like
Uh-huh.
I'm not calling my best friend as a girl my love. It's just since it's like it's too muddy.
Yeah.
That's the only part like I really didn't like. But he
Yeah.
came through, saved his girl, and when they were trying to get away, They were almost
Almost
away,
there. And
almost
you want to
there.
know what happened? You want to know why he died? Because of Price once again trying to escalate. She destroys the fuel depot that they have on the base for the Empire just to
Yo,
get Kanan and Jerry's like, oh, I got a Jedi Knight. He basically
yo.
stops the flames from coming. And she's like, y'all, you look at him, and Hera's like, no, he pushes her back. And he turns and look, and you see, like, I guess the force was able to heal his eyes. He got his eyesight back, and he waited till got away, and he dies. And I mean, the way the episode ended, where it was just silence,
Silence.
the rebels sleep.
It was silent, and it was
Yeah,
like I
I was
remember the
like,
first time I saw it with Maddie,
uh
I
huh,
was like, "Oh snap!" She was like, "Dad, they
yeah,
killed him."
right,
I was like,
yeah,
"They did."
yeah, they really did.
I
They,
felt,
they, they
I felt like the daggone Weebay on me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you know,
oh, for real, man. Like that is such a great one. And then we have Doom with the follow up with they're trying to
uh-huh.
just get their wits about them.
Yeah,
And Ezra gets to commune with the wolves, and he's like just reeling. Of course, he's sad,
uh-huh.
and he has to commune with the wolves, and the wolves like ain't really saying nothing to him for real, for real. Like he's like
Mm-hmm.
pissed off.
The wolves are jerk. The wolves are jerks too, because they knew they could have told him something. They just it was like a whole you must find out for yourself type trash. That's BS, man. Come on, yo.
Yeah. Could have told that man why his master had to die. But yeah,
Yeah,
and Sabine and Zeb go off just to kind of see what they can do.
because
And
they want to do a celebration. Price was like, we're gonna do a celebration parade to cover up the fact that this happened or whatever. And then like the other lieutenant was like, hey man, no, we know. He was like, oh, we don't the ones that know that I destroyed this to get that. And Thrawn
Thrawn said,
came.
"Do you think that this celebration is going to hide the fact that you have stopped production on my Thai program?"
Yo, he was pissed.
It
Like
was
he
hot.
said that he was hot, and she was like, I
He said you gave the rebels basically like I'm saying you gave them the W by doing that.
yeah.
Because
He's like, nah.
that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to blow the thing up.
Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, Grand Moff Tarkin was like, yeah, the Empire wants to holler at you. The Emperor wants to holler at you about this whole tie program because we got something else right now. That's this and that.
Yeah.
And
We
he
we
was,
we we could get something up with Krennic, and I'm
yeah,
about to take the credit for that.
right. We could get something up with Krennic. Operation Stardust, and they called it that, Operation Stardust. And then
Yeah.
Thrawn was pissed that he had to go to the Emperor because of the incompetence of Price.
And on the real, because we
Mm-hmm.
see how awesome the TIE Defender was.
Yeah.
Like the rebels really came through.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they didn't shut that program down on Lothal, they
Mm-hmm.
would have got murked by TIE Defenders.
Right.
Imagine mass produced TIE Defenders. Crazy, yo.
Yeah.
So Sabine and Zeb end up getting attacked by Rook.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeb almost murders Rook. Like if it wasn't for Sabine,
Yo, he went ballistic on
he said,
that
yo, he
Jew.
was like, yo, eye for an eye today.
Yeah.
And he
We
almost
get we getting it back in blood. That's exactly what they did. That was the definition
yo,
of getting it back in blood for real.
I mean, if it wasn't for Sabine, man, and also it wasn't for this being a TV Fantasy 7 kids show, he
Mm-hmm.
would have killed him. I'm just saying, like, and he would have earned it. And that would have just made it a whole lot easier for them in the end. But Sabine spray paints him and they let him go. And that's like, oh yeah. And so Ezra finally gets some clarity. You know what I'm saying? And he figures out what he needs to do, and he gets some
Mm-hmm.
sort of he gets a peace about it, as the folks would
Yeah.
say, about his master passing away. Wolves in the Door and The World Between Worlds are again another two-parter. And I'm just gonna say it. This is probably one of the more high concept things that they've ever introduced in Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
aside from the Force itself,
Yes.
which has kind of been which has been explained almost ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm.
But the World Between Worlds is very awesome. So, all right, so they figure out that hey, they're doing something with the temple on Lothal. You need to go to
Mm-hmm.
Lothal. That's what
The
the wolves
Jedi.
told them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the temple, and there's a whole little outpost set up there. It's not
Mm-hmm.
military, they say. It's almost sort of like it's almost like an excavation of
Mm-hmm.
sorts. They have this old creepy wizard looking dude that's
You
outside.
know who that is?
Yeah, that's the Emperor's right
That's
hand
the
man.
yes, that's the guy too that in not Force Awakens, in Rogue One, who was at Jedi at Vader's castle tending to Vader.
Yeah.
So he's like a Sith Force like mystic or something like that. He
Yeah.
knows all about the Force. Don't know if he's Force sensitive, but he knows all about the Force, and he knows like from his readings and learnings the inner workings of the Force.
Yeah, almost like Base Malvo and them boys with Treasure of the Force
Yeah,
on Jeddah. So that was the
yeah.
parallel. Thank you. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize all that. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so he's there and he's saying, "Look, we gotta find a way to get into the temple because there's some secrets
Mm-hmm.
in here that we need."
Mm-hmm.
And in retrospect, I don't understand. Okay, I guess that in a minute. So Basically they figure out with Sabine's help. They figure out how to get into it. There's some shenanigans going on. They trick some people,
There's
yada
a
yada.
there's a painting on the side of the temple
Yeah, and
of
it's our favorite gods of the Star Wars, the Mortis gods. We
uh-huh
have the father, the son, and the
the
daughter,
mm-hmm
and the owl.
and the owl, and their hands are all in different like locations, but it's a circle around, around their hand. And Sabine kind of figures it out because what happens is they also what ends up happening in the previous episode, Ezra was able to get this like
Relic
relic,
artifact.
almost like Ten Commandments type slab that had
It's true.
it was like a Ten Commandment slab that had like the hands and pointing in whatever direction they had to get in. And Sabine kind of figures this out, but it has to be someone who's a force wielder, especially a light side of the force wielder, because
Yeah.
this is the Jedi temple that they got semi destroyed on there, but they was able to excavate it. And so Sabine's like, "Hey, you can get in there. You need to figure this out, Ezra." So she runs distraction while Ezra basically turns the hands with the Force to make it go where there are some wolves at the bottom of the pitch of the painting that's on the side of the one mountain. And once he turns the hands a certain way, those wolf paintings start to move and lead Ezra trying like around the backside of the temple, and they make a little like circle. And Ezra's looking at this, and he sees that this is basically like a doorway
Yeah, it's
to
a
get in,
portal. Yeah.
a portal, and he goes into the portal.
Yeah, and that leads
Mm-hmm.
us, and it reminded me of like the Matrix when you put his finger in,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's a good callback for me.
The
So,
spoon, the spoon really isn't there.
like, all right, Oracle.
Yeah.
so, so the next episode is,
Uh-huh.
like I said, War Between Worlds, and you hear the voices of so many people as he's walking in this vast void of
Void.
looks like space and
Uh-huh.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And around there is just a bunch of portals.
Yes. So
And
on top of that, he's just hearing voices and he's like, what the hell? Who are it's just basically times and points throughout history, especially in the Star Wars history, going
yeah,
back to Phantom Menace up to, I guess you can say,
present
return
day
to
for them. Yeah.
present day for them, which is what I'm saying, present day. So yeah. And he's
And
just like confused,
yeah,
like
he
what's
doesn't
going
understand
on?
what's going on. And as a viewer, you got to put the subtitles on to even catch
Yeah.
all the people talking. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like every important person to the light side has something to say or is
Yeah,
saying something at that
you
time.
heard Anakin. I think I heard Mace, if I'm not mistaken, in there. You heard Yoda, Obi-Wan. What's my man? Anakin, and saying Qui-Gon. Like you hear everybody, and he's just like trying to figure out what's going on. And then finally, he looks up and he sees the owl that is usually represented by the spirit of the daughter from the Mortis gods or whatever. And I'm waiting for them in live action to actually explain it because we've seen that owl whenever Ahsoka is around in live action. We saw it the
Show been the
first time in
Mandalorian too.
Mandalorian season 2, right? We
Mm-hmm.
saw it right there. A lot of people you missed it if you didn't see it, but the owl was sitting right there because of the connection it has with Ahsoka. And so he's looking and he sees that it's like on a portal, and like the owl is kind of like nudging down, like, hey, you might want to check this out right here, bro. And so Ezra just walks up to the portal and he can see it. They don't see him, but he sees, let's go back to season 2. And he sees the battle where he sees Ahsoka pushes him away inside the Sith temple on Malachor, and the
Mm-hmm.
battle between her and Vader. And you see and then basically you saw how that battle ended. of what you saw, how that battle ended, and it's going. And Ahsoka was sticking at first, but uh, this is this is this is Dark Lord Vader here, who was basically getting ready to finish off Ahsoka and get ready to finish off Ahsoka. And he was about to like kind of, I think, throw the death blow, but something happened with like the Sith temple was starting to collapse.
Yeah.
And he reaches in, grabs her, and pulls her out and drags her into the world between worlds. And Vader's looking like, yo, what the hell? Vader was looking like, what the hell? Just, oh, let me get out of here. So he leaves. And so basically, Ahsoka comes to, and she's like, Ezra.
Yes. Question. So with this, do you think that this is like a closed loop situation, or did he alter time and space?
Okay, I don't. This is what I'm gonna say. So let me go to the end of the episode.
Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good.
I think this isn't him altering time and space. I think this is something that is a term we use in Star Wars. It was the will of the Force. It was something that had to happen because what you saw at the end of this episode was Ahsoka, you know what I'm saying, tells Ezra, like, hey, I have to go back. I'll find you. I have to go back. And she goes back through the portal. And what you see is the last shot of that episode, of the original episode, where Ahsoka is walking away with the owl, like she's limping. If you go back to the original episode where we didn't know what happened when the temple collapsed on itself, and you saw Vader struggling coming out of the temple, like, God dang, there was a fight or whatever. There was a shot of somebody kind of walking, struggling away, but it was fading to black. You could faintly see them. That's the same. That's how it is. So I think it was kind of
because you see Ahsoka and you see the owl,
and it was the same. Yeah. And it was the same way how it ended. So yeah. So I think this was kind of like a closed loop, a will of the Force type thing. Like it was going to happen regardless. Not Ezra tampering. That's what I think with that. Cool. But but with this episode, man, God,
and that leads you to the next thing, because even before that all happened, Ezra's like, I saved you. I know what I can do. So he's running, trying to find Kanan.
Yes.
Trying to find that moment. And when he gets there, the sad part is he doesn't realize his folly until he has to rewatch the entire thing. Right. And Ahsoka's like, yo.
And this shows how Ahsoka has become a person who analyzes and sees the situation for what it is. And she was like, yo, if you save him, you're changing history. Like, you guys are going to die.
Yeah, all y'all die.
All y'all die. And Ezra don't think about that, because Ezra, he does what a lot of Jedi do. And Luke Skywalker mentioned this, Skywalker mentioned this in The Last Jedi, that the Jedi's hubris is their biggest weakness. They feel, because we're Jedi, we're the light side, they're hubris. They think that, hey, can't stop us, baby. We're the Jedi. Light always wins. He felt that, and then she like no, like, if you do this, guy, like, you're gonna die. Like, that's it. And ain't no telling what's gonna happen. Are you gonna die here in the present? You're gonna fade away or whatever. And that's why she was like, I can't go back. Because he was like, well, come on back with me. He was like, I can't go back with you. I have to go back to that point to, you know what I'm saying, this. She says, don't worry, I'll find you. Don't worry. Look, we know what happened. I will find you. And in the process of that, oh boy, they're walking, and then they hear Sith chanting and everything, and they look, and they see Big Papa Palpatine.
Yo, because it's a trap. It was a trap the whole time. I mean, and that's just like the devil to give you the thing that you want, to tempt you with that thing. You know what I'm saying? And try and take you, because you're going to be drawn away by your own temptation. So
Palpatine knew exactly who Ezra Bridger.
He knew exactly. He know he wanted, like, he's a kid. His family died. He has a found family now. You know what I'm saying? So that's all he wanted was his family. So they're running it away. Boom. They get he gets out of the temple. And they're like, yo, what the heck you been? He's like, man, I can't even really explain
I
this to
can't
you.
explain it. I can't. He didn't even tell him, yo, like, yo, Ahsoka's alive. He didn't even say none of that. He was just like, can't really say, but
let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here or whatever. And then that's like I said, when you saw what I told you, Ahsoka goes back to that point in time where she's escaping, man. But yo, man,
oh yeah, and even in that, Sabine is schooling the old dude about you know what I'm saying, art and stuff, and she's you know, and they're all able to get away. Yeah. And it's just a good all around episode, man.
And they was able to destroy, I think, the doorway.
Yeah, they destroyed the temple.
So they couldn't get back to the temple, man. But let me tell you, man, that Palpatine scene was just like good, like
because it was out of nowhere, yo.
Out of nowhere, man. And here's the thing that makes Palpatine the greatest Sith, and that's weird to say, but the greatest Sith of all time. My man completely has mastered the dark side of the Force, and he's still looking for. He looks at it as in, you can't be complacent. It's still more out there, and
he's always a student.
Yeah, he's always a student, and he uses what he needs from people and get rid of them. And he's like, and the thing that makes him great too, he is like your traditional Sith. When the Sith first started, he ain't worried about no lightsaber and all this stuff like that. He's into Sith alchemy, Sith magic, and you see that more in the sequel trilogy, especially in The Rise of Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? Like that, man.
Yeah, poorly executed, but that's definitely was the gist of what they was trying to allude to, especially in like the Clone Wars. Yeah. So last two are another two-part, Fool's Hope and Family Reunion. Ezra essentially, like, his plan was so great. Like, and we're gonna jump these episodes together. So he lures Price and Rook out to where they are. Has Ryder act like he's turncoat.
Let me tell you something. Even though I seen this,
I got mad all over again. I got mad all over again.
Dirty mother. Ooh,
I got mad all over again.
I was saying every black person curse, you funky bee, you and all that.
Yeah. It's such a good reveal when they get to when they you know, everybody's there and some other people from the Rebellion come up to kind of say today, but still Ezra coordinated this whole thing.
Yep.
And even when they got to we got to like into Lothal and in the city, and they went to the I guess like the dome part, which I didn't realize that was even there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they attack the Terror Dome. Yeah, definitely the Terror Dome, and they go, and I had gnats. It's annoying. Anyway, so they get there, and Ezra's plan is still at work. And the great part and the sad part was when Hera recognizes what your boy's doing. And she's like, oh no, you cannot do this. And Chopper and Sabine have to essentially like let him run away so he can like do his plan, how he prescribes it. And it just shows you how much of a person that Ezra has become since he's been with the crew, and how much he's grown in the Force. Because him, like, also the reveal of the stupid Purgils from season 2 coming back to be the thing that leads him to victory, also fulfilling the prophecy of the Bendu. There can be many arms around you, like a cold embrace,
which like the Bendu said about Thrawn.
Like, yeah, man, like it's so like, it was really like they did such a good job writing these last 2 episodes, man.
Yeah, and then the thing is, like, the dumb look Price had when she realized that, like, oh snap, y'all got me.
Yeah.
And this chick, let me explain. This chick right here, like I said, we've jumbling these 3 episodes together right here. This chick is so gung-ho you know what I'm saying? I am the Empire. The Empire is me. You filthy rebel scum. They had her, and they were just like, hey, lady, it's over with. Help us do this or whatever. Also, help us do this. And she is not willing to turn her back on the Empire because she don't want to lose that power, and she still believes that the Empire is going to help her. So by this time, Thrawn comes back into the picture from his meeting with Big Papa Palpatine about the, you know what I'm saying, the TIE fighter program or whatever. And he sees that there's basically a full-blown like liberation. He sees there's a full-blown liberation going on Lothal. And like Thrawn is like, hey, let's try to put an end to this crap right now. And also what we didn't really haven't talked about yet is Callus is still in the series, but Callus is now on the rebel side. He done grew out, got his little mop top going, still got his sideburn, his mutton chop sideburns, but he's down with the rebellion or whatever. And they're attacking, and like they're basically, and Thrawn's thing is like, I'm going to attack the outside of the city to draw, to draw them out. Well, that really don't work because, like you said, the Purgils show up. And the Purgils show up, and basically it's like a standoff between Thrawn and Ezra. The Purgils show up. Ezra, you see how he is starting to not necessarily master the Force, but have a great concept and grasp of the Force. And the Purgil like start wrapping their hands up, and he's telling everybody who's there, he tells Rex, Callus, Zeb, all of them, hey, let's get out of, I need to get out of here right now. On top of that, I just want to give a rest in peace to my man Gregor from the Clone Wars. He came back with Wolf, and he sacrificed himself to help out and everything. That was a real touching moment. So then they're telling Ezra get out, and he's like, yo, I can't, man. He's like, I gotta go be about my business.
I gotta see this through the end.
All right, I gotta see this through the end. They're begging him, please, let's go. Please come on, let's go. Don't let's go. And he's like, no. And Thrawn is sitting, and the look of disgust in Thrawn's face. Thrawn is like, yo, I finally have been defeated without letting them win.
And not even that, but I should have won. But the thing that I cannot control is the Force.
Yes.
Again, like I said last week, Thrawn should have won, but the Bendu. Thrawn should have won this time, but the Purgil. The only thing that's affecting his plans are things outside of that are supernatural. Other than that, Thrawn is killing everything, but he cannot control the will of the Force, as you said earlier.
Just think about this. Imagine if Thrawn was a Force user, bro. It would be ridiculous. But anyway, so the Purgil basically, destroyed Thrawn's entire fleet, and they're starting to charge up to go into hyperspace. And it was like, yo, we know what they about to do. Ezra go. He was like, no, I gotta go. And in the meantime, like I said, Price dies in this because she wants to go down with the Empire, and she wants to go down being part of the Empire. And the Purgil charge up and shoot off into hyperspace into parts unknown. And during this time period in Star Wars, there's let alone not a way to track ships in hyperspace.
Ain't no way to track them Purgil.
You can't track no Purgil going because they come and go as they please. And basically you see the fall of the Empire there. The rest of the city of Lothal, the main capital of Lothal, they basically rise up and they take back what's theirs, their planet.
Yo,
Lothal has been liberated from the Empire.
Yeah, and then there's an epilogue like 5 years later. Ooh. And which is essentially what you see during the trailers for Ahsoka. You have
so 5 years after, so this is 5 years past when Ezra leaves with the Purgil along with Thrawn. You see the victory of the Rebel Alliance at the Battle of Endor, where both Hera and Rex were there. They both took part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you like I said, the Imperial Lothal was always fearful that the Empire was going to try to come back. Lothal Empire was like, "Yo, we tired of this little planet irritating us." They didn't even bother with that. But they had other fish to fry with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and all
Yeah,
them,
and the Death
giving them
Star.
and the Death Star, giving them hell. On top of that, you see the Ghost Crew basically go their separate ways. Zeb, he takes Callus to Lyrasan, basically the real home world of the Lasats, to let him know, like, hey, you didn't wipe out guy like here, and they kind of accepted him,
That's kind
which
of
was kind of
like,
weird.
yeah, it's almost like having Slobodan Milosevic go back to Czechoslovakia. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey man, it's all a mistake.
True,
Slob, like,
very,
yeah, it's like Slavs and the Kurds. And yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Our
yeah.
bad, man. It wasn't that bad.
Hey,
Hey man, you didn't,
genocide's not cool.
you
My
know,
I'm
you know,
I'm a cool guy.
you
Looking
didn't,
like
yeah.
looking like oh my god, yo, I can't remember my name today. What's your man that played for the Clippers? Basketball player. Oh
Heyman,
man. No.
you play for the Clippers right now.
Yes, man. The dudes play for the Spurs, just play for the Raptors. Kawhi Leonard. He's
Kawhi
like,
Leonard, yeah.
like I'm a cool guy.
I'm
I'm a
a,
fun guy. Struggling. Yo, so that happens,
so that happens,
and he's
and
there
then you
now.
right, and then you see that the Ghost Squadron now is just Hera, Chopper, and little Jason
Little
Syndulla.
Jason
Jason is
Syndulla.
the child of Hera and Kanan Jarrus, and
Yeah, and I
basic.
didn't know you could have an interspecies baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they showed that kind of in Clone Wars. Remember that one clone that left
Oh
and they got
yeah,
with a
yeah,
Twilight,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
still had the
yeah.
little
Yeah, but
double.
he
The
had
Jason Syndulla
the
ain't got that.
Kindles. No, he's got
Yeah,
green hair,
he
right?
just got green hair or whatever. And apparently, Jason Syndulla will be in this Ahsoka series.
Yeah, we definitely saw him.
Yeah,
He's
definitely
in
go
it.
to see him.
One of
Go
his is
to
gonna be a Force user.
right. So he's there. And then what else we got here? Da, 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 da. So then we come to Sabine.
Yeah, because Sabine is narrating it, by the
Yeah,
way.
Sabine is narrating this. Sabine got her little pixie cut going on, got her little cute pixie cut going on, and she drew a mural. She drew a mural in one of the caves. I think that cave that the Loth Wolf took them to, and it has basically the entire Ghost Crew with the Loth Wolves and some of the Loth cats there, and she's narrating it, and she's looking at the picture of Ezra, and she's just like thinking about it,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, we see a hooded figure in a white, not KKK people, but a hooded figure in white with the cane, and it's none other than Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano shows up, and she basically is like, the rebellion may be over, but our job isn't over, and basically that's where they're saying they're going to go find Ezra, and
Yeah. And that is the whole reason
oh
why we did this, because
yeah,
that's what Ahsoka's gonna be. It's gonna
mm-hmm.
be them finding Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've been setting up, and they're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
find. They may find Thrawn, but Thrawn's going to,
Yeah,
I'll get you next time, gadget them. But
right.
it's going to be essentially the reunion of the
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Crew plus Ahsoka, which is like an honorary member.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
crazy about this is to like when this ended, Rebels, people were like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" And it's always been a thing of where's Ezra, where's Thrawn, because it was always left open. It was nothing put in the comics or anything
Oh
like that.
no, because
And then
they knew they was coming back to this.
right, they knew they was coming back, but it kind of let people kind of forget because by this time you've had the three. like what, a few years later you have the Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker, and then you also get the thing where, hey, Disney Plus happens. Hey, we're gonna have these shows. The Mandalorian season 1 comes out, becomes a hit. Mandalorian season 2 comes out. We get introduced to Rosario Ahsoka Tano Dawson,
Which,
and
by the way,
yeah, she has
one
been.
of the best casting and most obvious casting choices. Like I remember back in like
Mm-hmm,
2014, 15,
mm-hmm,
she was openly campaigning to be this character. And when I looked at her, Boss Logic did
mm-hmm,
art because you know
mm-hmm.
Boss Logic on Twitter. Well, now
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was Twitter. Who
Mm-hmm.
now I'll never say that new name. And now he did like concept art of her being
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka. I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
has to happen.
The only other time I've seen something like this happen where an actor has pushed so hard for years to play a role was Ryan Reynolds to do Deathpool. And and this is the first time, like this is like the second time it's finally happened where it's been pushed.
And like and it's like a miscontroversy with Bradley Cooper playing this like Jewish character on a Netflix thing, Berenstein, I think it was like a composer.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, we didn't ask for that. And
Mm-hmm.
also Bradley Cooper doesn't even look like it doesn't fit the part. They had to put a prosthetic nose on that man and make him look really ridiculous. Like it was
Right.
like very much a caricature and not even how
Yes.
he really looked. That
Right.
being said, when casting directors get the casting rights,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing. And not only that, but people who want to play the character. It's
Yeah.
like when Charlie Cox wanted to come back and play Matt Murdock. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
John Berthal wanted to come back and play the Punisher.
Punch.
You know, so and I'm
Great
pretty
series.
sure you know, our homeboy is pretty open now because his little sorry show on CBS probably got canceled during the pandemic, and he can come back and play Power Man. So there's a so when the people want to play the character, man, it just makes it a lot easier. And you can and just by how also love Rosario's take on Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka
Mm-hmm.
is a mature. She's a grown
But
woman. She's
yeah,
a grown woman. Number
so
one,
Ahsoka's like probably like in her, like Ahsoka now has to
early
be about
40s.
early 40s or something
You know what
like
I'm
that. Yeah,
saying?
late 30s, early 30s,
Yeah,
40s at the
yeah, yeah.
most. You know what I'm
She
saying?
she, she a grown woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she ain't got time to play a game with no kids. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And she's really has a mission, and it goes
Mm-hmm.
back to what she said: "I will find you." And I'm not
Right.
even sure if she realized at the time what "I will find you" meant,
Right.
but this is the promise that she's upholding after all this time.
And when she said the line in season 2 of Mandalorian, "Where is your master? Where is Thrawn?" We all was like, "We're here.
Yeah, I said, "Oh yeah,
We're here.
yeah, 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 yeah." I was like, the Ghost
We're
Crew's
here.
back.
We're here." We people was concerned about, who was going to play Sabine, because at first the thought was going to be Sasha Banks. WWE. A lot of people thought
Yeah,
it was going to be her, but she was a Mandalorian, but not. You know what I'm saying? But I think they've done a great job. And then this past season of Mandalorian, the last episode, when probably the best CGI they've done with Lucasfilms with Zeb. You saw Zeb in
yo,
oh my God, it was fantastic. It was
yo,
fantastic. You see Zeb with that,
with
so
the original voice actor too.
yeah, original voice actor. And I mean, the only thing that was left was, who will play Thrawn? Who's going to play Thrawn?
And we
And
got the voice actor back for him,
yes,
Lars
Lars
Mickelson made it
Mickelson.
just made so much. It made so
Yeah,
it was just the right choice.
yes.
You
And
know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
and here we are. And even at the end of, what I'm saying, season 3 of The Mandalorian, you saw where, you had a sect of some of the Moffs who was like, yo, Thrawn, the one that was like, yo, Thrawn is coming. Thrawn is coming. And the other sect was like, man, Thrawn ain't coming back. F Thrawn. And then, Moff Gideon was like, you need to follow this one right here, baby. Thrawn ain't coming back. And this, I mean, and we're here. And next week, even if you see this later on, this is a week before Ahsoka comes out. We are going to get 2 episodes. And good God Almighty, I cannot wait.
Can't
Because there are a
wait.
lot of questions that are going to be answered. There's still some things that we might have forgotten about that's going to pop up, I believe, in this. And this is all leading up into what I have dubbed the Filoni verse of Star Wars right here. Because all this is going to lead up to his massive movie where we're putting together The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka, and probably one more other show, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be all thrown into this.
I think Skeleton Crew is still in the same era as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Also, Mando season 4 is going to be just a regular season, so
Mm-hmm.
the movie is going to be its own, just its
Mm-hmm.
own thing.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait, man. So
Can't
yeah,
wait.
it's I've had so much fun rewatching this,
Definitely.
and this is why I mean, this is really why I made it upon further review, is for
Yeah,
us to have the
man.
ability to go back and watch old stuff, talk about it. This just
Yes.
happens to lead into Ahsoka, and next
Mm-hmm.
week is going to be it's looking like it's going to be fun. Early
Mm-hmm.
reviews are coming in, lot of head nodding.
Mm-hmm.
People ain't really saying a whole lot because it's still, the writer's strike
Yeah.
and the actor strike is going on.
Yeah.
So, which we are part of neither one of those guilds, by the way. We're just
Yeah.
regular people doing what we doing what
We
we love
just
to do.
we just average Joe Blows,
Ain't no
man. Who
sponsorship here,
and
man.
sponsorships here and all
Ain't
that.
getting paid for
We
this.
ain't getting no cash. Eventually we would like to,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
not being monetized one bit.
Mm-mm.
We are fans of all genres, different genres of movies, and we just here to give, what I'm saying, our unfiltered, opinion of what we think of certain movies and stuff like that. I mean, it was just
Yeah,
great.
that's really it, man. So we will see you guys next week, 7
Mm-hmm.
p.m. Calrissian Kids, Ahsoka's episode 1 and 2, full spoiler review. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.